The moment has arrived. The signs have been whispering through the winds, echoing in your thoughts, and appearing in ways only your spirit could understand. This isn't something new. It's something eternal that is finally making itself known in this world. Chosen one, your rise was never a coincidence. It was always foretold. What you're experiencing now is not random. It's part of a divine design so meticulously crafted that not even your detours, delays, or darkest moments could destroy it. Watch this video until the very end, because there's something about your wishes. Yes, those deep desires aligned with your soul that are now calling energy back into motion. This is your time to align with it fully. Comment your warmest wishes and 144 below. This moment isn't just about the future. It's about activating the energy that was sleeping inside of you all along. Now, chosen one, show your light by liking this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's step into this together. You've walked through things people wouldn't believe. You've been tried in fire and forgotten in the shadows. But even in your lowest moments, something inside you said, "This isn't where it ends." That whisper you heard in the silence, the pull you felt when no one else could see, that was the prophecy unfolding. The rise you've always sensed, even before anything changed on the outside, was the beginning of what's now showing itself in the physical. This world will never understand the weight you've carried in silence. People may have mistaken your stillness for stagnation. They may have assumed your lack of movement was a sign you were done. But what they didn't realize is you were simply being refined, sharpened, and positioned. Because chosen ones don't rise like everyone else. We don't take shortcuts. We're prepared in stillness, and when we move, the whole atmosphere shifts. There's something about your presence that has always disrupted what was false. You've been misunderstood, not because you were wrong, but because you were ahead. You carried truths before they were spoken. You had vision before it was validated. That's the life of someone who was born marked. Marked to rise. Marked to challenge what's dead and carry what's divine. So many tried to box you into what was comfortable for them. You were too quiet, too different, too focused. But the truth is, you were just listening to something higher, something their ears weren't tuned to. You were being led by whispers that came from above, not noise that came from the crowd. And now, you're seeing why. This rise isn't just about you. It's about what you're carrying. It's about the people who will find their own strength because you chose not to quit. It's about the doors that will open for others because you chose to stay in alignment when it would have been easier to abandon the path. The enemy thought your silence meant defeat, but your silence was strategy. And now the plan unfolds. You've watched others move ahead. You've seen people who weren't ready gain platforms, but what they had in numbers, you've been gaining in weight. There's something different about your rise because it's coming with authority. It's coming with proof. It's coming with favor that can't be fabricated or bought. And the reason is simple. It was foretold. Every time you felt left out, it was part of the arrangement. Every delay was a disguise. Every time you were overlooked, heaven was saying, "Not yet." Because when your rise begins, it's not meant to fit into what's already happening. It's meant to shift what's happening. You were not created to blend in. You were created to break patterns and build what hasn't been seen. Now, you may still feel unprepared. You might even wonder if it's too late or if you've missed something. But hear this. Destiny doesn't skip those who are aligned. The very fact that you're still breathing with purpose in your heart is proof that your time is now. You're not behind. You're just on divine schedule. And the rise you feel stirring is proof that the alarm has gone off. Things are going to accelerate. People who didn't believe in you will wonder how it's happening so fast. Opportunities will appear that you didn't chase. And the reason is simple. What's been stored up is now being released. Your name has been whispered in rooms you haven't stepped into yet. And when those doors open, they won't open by force. They'll open by alignment. But you must remember this. Don't shrink when the spotlight comes. Don't question whether you're ready. Don't return to places you've outgrown just to feel safe. You weren't built for safety. You were built for impact. You weren't sent here to survive. You were chosen to shift the atmosphere. You are part of a divine rollout that cannot be reversed. And with all of this comes one last truth. Not everyone will celebrate your rise. Some will question it. Some will envy it. Some will pretend they never doubted you. But you are not here to prove anything to them. Your rise isn't about validation. It's about fulfillment. It's about living the truth of what was written over your life, long before anyone knew your name. You didn't go through all of that pain for nothing. You didn't cry those tears in vain. Every ounce of struggle has a counterpart in glory. Every breaking point is now balancing out in blessing. And the shift is happening. Not next year, not someday, but now. And it's so undeniable, even those who spoke against you will have to admit something higher is backing you. This is the rise that cannot be stopped. What's happening in your life right now may seem confusing to those watching, but to the ones aligned with spirit, it makes perfect sense. Because when a rise is divinely orchestrated, it doesn't begin with applause, it begins with a shift. A subtle, deep, almost undetectable change in your spirit, where you just know the old is falling off, and something sacred is rising. You may not have the full picture yet. You may still be walking through corridors with no doors open. But chosen one, it's not about what you see. It's about what's about to be revealed. The rise doesn't announce itself with flashing lights. It moves through silence, obedience, and strange timing. And that's why only those truly tuned in can feel it before it shows up in their reality. People ask, why you? And the answer is because of the weight you carry. They didn't see the seasons where you gave without return. They didn't hear the prayers you whispered in the dark. They didn't feel the pressure you kept hidden behind your smile. But heaven did. And that's why this elevation isn't random. It's a response. This rise was always in your spiritual DNA. That sense of being different, that unshakable vision in your heart. Those moments when nothing made sense, yet you still believed. All of it was evidence. Evidence that something greater had been assigned to you. And while others tried to mold you into what they understood, you kept evolving in silence, honoring the voice that only you could hear. That voice told you to stay steady when it looked like everyone else was advancing. It told you to give when you were empty, to love when you were overlooked, to rise when everything in you wanted to stay down. That's the voice of purpose. That's the sound of destiny. And because you honored it, it's now time for that voice to echo through everything you do. Your rise begins in the unseen. It starts in your mentality, in your energy, in your silence. And soon, it will spill out into everything around you. Suddenly, Things that didn't make sense will click. Delays will turn into access. Dead ends will become openings. And it won't be because you forced it. It will be because you flowed with what was already yours. Understand this: your rise was never meant to look like theirs. You were never created to follow a standard path. That's why comparison has always felt like poison to your spirit. Every time you tried to mimic someone else's route, it felt hollow. Because your rise was customized, tailored by divine hands. And now that it's unfolding, it'll be undeniable who you really are. Even the trials were part of the preparation. What tried to break you actually shaped your endurance. The betrayal, it purified your circle. The rejection, it was redirection. The loneliness, it helped you hear heaven more clearly. All of it woven into the fabric of your rise. No thread wasted, no pain without purpose. This is the hour where everything starts to shift. And the beauty of it is this: you won't have to chase it. You'll attract it. The right people, the right opportunities, the right timing, it's all aligning because the frequency of your spirit is matching the flow of your purpose. You're not begging anymore. You're becoming. And that alone changes everything. There will be moments where the pressure feels intense, but don't mistake it for misalignment. Sometimes, the greatest resistance comes right before the elevation. The enemy knows what's at stake. He's seen glimpses of the rise, and he's terrified of what happens when you fully walk into it. But that fear is confirmation. Confirmation that your rise is a threat to every lie that tried to bind you. And it's not just about breaking free. It's about what you're about to build. This rise is bringing you resources, connections, clarity, and vision. Not so you can say, "I made it," but so you can say, "This is what I was born for." You're about to step into environments that need your presence. Rooms that shift because of your energy. Paths that only open when you arrive. Don't downplay your journey. Don't water down your story to make others comfortable. The rise was meant to be seen, not to glorify you, but to glorify the one who designed it. Let them see the fire you walked through. Let them witness how favor found you. Let your rise be a mirror, showing others that if it can happen for you, it can happen for them too. Keep going. You're not done. You're just beginning. And the next part? It's about to get louder, brighter, and more undeniable than ever before. You've noticed the change in your atmosphere, haven't you? Something feels different. It's not loud, it's not chaotic. But deep within, there's an undeniable hum, like something ancient has awakened inside you. It's the sound of your spirit, aligning with the prophecy that was spoken over you long before anyone knew your name. It's not just happening around you, it's happening through you. Every delay, every detour, every door that once felt slammed in your face was never denial. It was preparation. It was timing. Because a rise like yours has to be built on something eternal. Not trends, not opinions, not fleeting attention, but truth. And that truth is this: you were chosen, not by people, not by popularity, but by a higher order. And no force on this planet can cancel what heaven confirmed. Now, you're starting to feel it. The way people look at you differently. The way energy shifts when you enter a room. The way old patterns start to fall away without effort. You're not who you were even a season ago. There's a divine acceleration at work now. And it's not random. It's the unfolding of what was already written. You didn't chase this rise. You prepared for it in silence. when no one clapped, when no one cared, when all you had was a quiet yes and a tired soul. But you kept moving anyway. That's what separated you. That's what built you. And now, as the floodgates of favor begin to crack open, it's not a surprise, it's a response. This part of the journey is sacred. It's sensitive. You may feel like pulling back, withdrawing from certain conversations, or distancing from certain people. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. Because when your rise is divine, protection becomes just as important as exposure. Not everyone can witness what's being born in you right now, and don't expect everyone to understand. They won't. Some will say you changed, and they'll be right. You did. You had to. You were never meant to stay in that box they built for you. You were never created to live within their comfort zone. Your destiny was too massive, too layered, too prophetic to be explained by the logic of small minds. You've been feeling the pull, a call to go deeper, to grow quieter, to observe more and react less. That's because your spirit is being fine-tuned. The noise of the world is being filtered out, and the voice of purpose is being turned up. And when that voice gets loud, really loud, everything around you starts to align. People who once ignored you suddenly recognize your presence. Places that once rejected you begin to make space. Systems that overlooked you start bending in your favor. Not because you forced anything, but because the timing was triggered. The appointed moment arrived, and you were ready. Chosen one, you need to understand. This rise isn't just personal. It's generational. What's coming through you will bless people you may never meet. Your obedience is echoing far beyond your own life. You are walking proof that when one person heals, forgives, surrenders, and steps up, the entire bloodline can shift. So yes, it's heavy. Yes, it feels unfamiliar. But don't let that scare you. Let it remind you that you are stepping into something new, something rare, something that can't be copied or manufactured, because it's encoded in your soul. Even the way doors are opening for you is different now. Before, it was through striving. Now, it's through surrender. Before, it was through proving. Now, it's through alignment. Before, it was by being seen. Now, it's by being sent. And there's a holy boldness rising up in you, not loud, not arrogant, but unshakable. A quiet certainty that says, I belong here. I'm ready now. Everything that seemed to be breaking you was secretly building you. The heartbreak, it expanded your compassion. The confusion, it sharpened your discernment. The losses, they made room for divine replacements. You may have felt like you were losing, but heaven was setting the stage. And now that you're here, you'll notice the shift in how you carry yourself. Less explaining, less defending, more walking in your truth. Because once you know who you are, you stop negotiating with doubt. You stop entertaining anything that doesn't mirror the future you've been shown. This is your season of emergence. And it's not coming with a loud bang, it's coming with steady steps. With grace, with clarity, with the kind of confidence that doesn't shout, it radiates. Stay steady, stay sacred, stay submitted. Because what's coming next will not just elevate you, it will announce you. You've reached the point where the whispers of your destiny are no longer soft echoes in the background. They are undeniable truths resonating in every step you take. The world around you may not fully comprehend it, but the shift within you is undeniable. The rise that was foretold has begun to make its mark in both subtle shifts and divine interruptions. What once seemed like coincidence is now confirmation. There's no need to chase what's already yours. That's the realization anchoring you now. The more you align with purpose, the more everything else begins to orbit around that energy. No longer are you reacting. You're responding. No longer are you proving. You're embodying. You are no longer waiting for permission. Your life is the permission. There's a sacred quietness in your movement now. You've stopped announcing things prematurely. You've stopped letting everyone into the sacred parts of your becoming. And in that silence, you've gained clarity, power, direction. Because this rise is not about being loud, it's about being aligned. And that alignment is unlocking favor in ways that words can't explain. You've outgrown what once held your attention. The small conversations, the temporary pleasures, the distracting patterns, they no longer satisfy the spirit within you. Not because you're arrogant, but because you've seen too much, felt too much, suffered too much to settle for anything less than what was promised. There's an unspoken wisdom growing in you. It's what makes people pause before they speak to you now. It's what causes others to study your energy, to mimic your mannerisms, to seek your guidance, even when they don't fully understand why. That's what happens when someone walks in divine truth. It can't be replicated, but it can be felt. And people feel you now. But with this rise comes a deeper level of responsibility. You're being trusted with vision, with impact, with the power to speak life, or withhold it. And this is why your process took time, because the rise of a chosen one cannot be rushed. It has to be forged, refined, purified by trial. It's not just about arriving, it's about becoming. And you, chosen one, have become. The version of you that's emerging now is sharper, wiser, more whole, and most importantly, rooted. You're no longer shaken by temporary storms. You don't fall apart under pressure the way you used to. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's proof of the internal strength that's been cultivated in silence. Now is not the time to look back. That season has served its purpose. Let go of the guilt for outgrowing what no longer fits. Release the need to explain your evolution. You don't owe anyone a narrative. You owe your Creator your obedience. And right now, obedience looks like walking forward, even when you feel unprepared. The truth is, you are ready. You're more ready than you think. The signs around you are not random. The doors swinging open, the people suddenly reaching out, the ideas that keep burning inside you. They're all indicators. The vision that's been stirring in your spirit wasn't placed there by accident. It's the blueprint of your rise. This isn't just about a personal win. This is about fulfilling a divine assignment. Your rise carries ripple effects. Your presence in certain rooms will shift atmospheres. Your words will ignite healing. Your story will unlock courage in others who were quietly fading. And you'll do it not because you're perfect, but because you were chosen. There will be moments where the weight of it feels like too much. Don't run from those moments. Lean into them. Let them remind you that you were never meant to do this alone. The same force that initiated your rise is the same force that will sustain it. Grace is covering you. Power is backing you. Heaven is cheering you on. What's unfolding now is not the peak. It's only the beginning. The foundation has been laid. The roots are deep. And now, chosen one, you rise. Not with noise, not with fanfare, but with divine certainty that says, "This is the moment I was made for." The most beautiful part of all of this? You're still evolving. You haven't seen your final form. You haven't reached your highest frequency. What you're walking in now is only a glimpse of what's ahead. And because you trusted the process, you're being handed the promise. The rise was foretold, but now it's becoming real. And that realness will be undeniable. Not because of what you say, but because of what people see. They'll see the glow, the elevation, the fruit. And whether they support it or stay silent, it won't change the truth. You were called for this moment, and your rise will be witnessed. As you continue forward, you'll notice something powerful. Resistance may still show up, but your response to it is no longer the same. That's the mark of elevation, not the absence of challenge, but the rise of mastery. You don't break down like you once did. You don't argue with things beneath your energy. You don't seek validation from those who can't even validate their own reflection. This is what spiritual maturity looks like. Quiet strength, focused fire, disciplined grace. The people who once underestimated you will begin to wonder how you're still standing, how you're glowing, how you're moving without apology. But what they don't realize is that this rise wasn't handed to you. It was earned, in the dark, through every prayer they never heard, through every silent sacrifice, through every moment you chose not to give up. That's what they didn't see. The becoming, the nights you felt invisible, the seasons where you were misunderstood, misjudged, even mocked. But all of it had a purpose. It was part of the molding, the process that broke you open just to rebuild you stronger. The fire that didn't burn you down, it refined you. And now, you're walking proof of resurrection. You no longer carry the energy of someone who needs to be seen. You carry the presence of someone who was sent. That's what's shifting around you. The atmosphere changes when you enter the room, not because you're trying, but because your energy has been recalibrated by divine alignment. Your frequency is higher. Your aura is clearer. Your discernment is sharper. And your footsteps are now guided by something far greater than logic. They're moved by calling. You've become too anchored to be swayed by surface noise, too aware to be fooled by false opportunities, too seasoned to be distracted by empty compliments. Your focus now is legacy, not likes, impact, not impressing, purpose, not performance. And because of that, heaven is opening doors that no man can shut. You're walking into spaces that were designed with your energy in mind, rooms where your name was already in the atmosphere before you arrived, assignments that your soul signed up for long before your mind could catch up. You're not chasing anything anymore. You're magnetizing it. That's the rare shift people don't talk about. The spiritual gravitational pull that comes from walking in purpose. Your name is being whispered in rooms you haven't entered yet. But it's not just for fame. It's for impact. The rise foretold wasn't about spotlight. It was about influence. Divine influence. Influence that heals, elevates, awakens. Your words carry frequency. Your silence carries weight. You've become a vessel, a divine channel. And that's why your presence feels different now. Don't doubt the discomfort you feel when you're surrounded by old energy. That tension is spiritual data. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. Your rise requires new alignment, new environments, new voices. And sometimes, the rise means releasing. Not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. You can't climb carrying everything. You've earned the right to protect your peace, to set new standards, to walk away from anything that dims your inner flame. Because this rise, chosen one, isn't just about where you're going. It's about who you're becoming on the way. The deeper you go, the more sacred your time, your words, and your energy become. And now, people can sense that something is shifting around you. They may not have the language for it, but they can feel it. That's the energy of destiny unfolding in real time. When someone is walking in alignment, the world begins to respond in strange, divine ways. Resources appear. Help arrives. Ideas expand. And peace, real peace, becomes the compass. It's no longer about proving yourself to anyone. You're not here to convince people who refuse to see you. You're here to rise, to fulfill, to embody. The journey ahead will demand more of you, but it will also reward you beyond measure. Because chosen one, this rise was not a suggestion. It was spoken, declared, foretold. And now, it's finally happening. The atmosphere around you has changed, even if you can't fully explain how. You're starting to realize that what once felt unreachable is now making its way toward you with clarity and force. Not because you're chasing it with desperation, but because your energy is aligned, your spirit is centered, and your calling is now echoing louder than ever. You're not just walking anymore, you're ascending. This is what makes you different. Chosen one. You didn't skip steps. You didn't cheat the process. You endured the breaking. You surrendered to the becoming. And now you're ready. Not just externally, but spiritually. There is a weight to your presence that wasn't there before. A stillness that shakes the ground. A power born of pain, purified through patience. People are starting to notice, even if they don't say it. Some will stare with wonder, others with confusion, a few with envy. But you're no longer shaken by their reactions, because you've learned something crucial. When you rise with God's hand, you don't need everyone's applause. The anointing itself is the evidence. And when it's your time, no silence, no scheme, no shadow can stop it. Doors are about to open not because of who you know, but because of who you are. Your authenticity is the key. Your obedience is the access. And your growth, the real, unseen, spiritual kind, is the invitation. You've become the version of yourself that the prophecy pointed to, that the trials shaped, that the silence prepared. You didn't just grow, you transformed, quietly, powerfully, from within. And now everything around you is catching up to the change that already took place inside. You were never behind. You were never forgotten. You were being hidden, protected, developed, so that when the rise came, it would be undeniable. There's a reason you felt that inner stirring before anything around you changed. That was divine confirmation. That was your soul remembering what was promised long ago. And now, the signs are showing. The favor is multiplying. The connections are aligning. And the timing, is becoming more precise with each passing day. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. But don't shrink. Don't second-guess what you're stepping into. It was spoken over your life before you even had language to describe it. And now the stage is being set, not for performance, but for purpose. Not for fame, but for fulfillment. And not for ego, but for eternal impact. You are the one someone will thank God for, not just because you succeeded, but because you stayed true, because you didn't fold when it got heavy, because you didn't compromise when it got lonely, because you chose alignment over attention. And now, the reward is finding you. The tables are turning, and the light is shifting in your direction. Don't be surprised when people start treating you differently. When opportunities find you. When the same ones who dismissed you now watch from a distance. That's what happens when the rise begins. It humbles. It corrects. It reveals. And it reminds you, this isn't just your moment. This is your mission. And the best part? You don't need to force anything. What's yours is magnetized to your purpose. Every resource, every person, every door, it's all lining up, not just with your talent, but with your truth. That's why this rise feels different. It's not built on striving. It's built on divine orchestration. Breathe. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And it's just the beginning.